Alrighty, welcome back. I think the last time I left you, I was working on this last task of establish 5 more towns. I've got 4 built. I'm going to go ahead and do the 5th one. Let's take a look around here. This would open up. Actually, none of those, all of those resources have already been opened up. There are these way down here. However, that does open up wool, which is way out here, which would be nice because wool is one of those things that I don't really get much of, but I feel like I do want it to be a little bit closer to something that I can meet the demand for relatively quickly. I sort of feel like maybe this is the one because I can bring beer from Bendigo and then I can get wood. There's wood over here. I could run that over, swap it through Dinbola, send it over there, and then I can get wheat from up here. And then seafood, the same thing. The seafood would come down here. Now, another option is right here, Mount Gambier, because I can get wood and seafood from right there. I could bring in wheat from way up here, just looking around. And then beer possibly from, nope, Ballarat does not make beer. Probably beer from Bendigo and send it down that way. Now this would also be a good choice. I actually kind of like this one here on the coast. So I'm going to establish that. Let's put in our train station. Now I do want to, let's see, since it is going to have to hook right into that line, I don't know what's the best way to put it in, actually. And we'll just put it like that. Alright. Let's hook it in like there. I'll throw in a supply tower up here. Now I am going to need to bring wood down, and as you can see, this logging is not really connected into this line, so I'm going to have to extend that. I'll probably just expand the station, and I'll take this line, run it over just like that. Oh, nope, just like that. There we go. A couple of signals on there. And it's good to go. Let's get a train from there to here. So we got that going. Now we can hook up our fishery as well. Now we just really have the, well, we've got 2 lines here. Let's see, I think I'm just going to take it over here and probably loop it around like that. Okay, got that going. All right. Let's get another train. while you were gone, I updated the lumber mill in Adelaide so that it could make me a bunch of money, because it's got that export warehouse for lumber. So I just mass produced lumber in Adelaide, and then it's making me quite a bit of money, which is nice. Alright, so we got that set up. So now we have the lumber and the wheat. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out what's the... Probably we're going to need some kind of system here like that. Maybe just right like there. Okay. This is for the grain to come over, because now we can set up an additional train from Perry Farm. It'll go up and around over here. Let's trace it, make sure the orange is right. Yep, looks good. And again, we want to make sure this is a full load. Yeah, and this farm is making plenty of wheat. The only problem is I have to wait till this train gets out of the way, because it's delivering to Pinaroo, which is right there, and Pinaroo has a low demand, so it doesn't really need a full load, but it'll get out of the way soon enough, so I'm not terribly worried about that for the time being. Now, I do have a I don't have a way to get from Bendigo over there. Let's see, does Melbourne have excess beer? They do not. They are drinking all the beer they're making. There's no beer in Ballard. Bendigo's making beer, but what I really should do is like take this Dimboola and make beer there, because beer is in much higher demand. Or even Pinaroo, although they're making Vegemite, which is popular. Because even Bendigo is having a hard time keeping up with demand for the beer. They just can't get the the beer in and out fast enough. Alright, so you know what? This one this is going to Adelaide. I'm actually going to get rid of these restrictions. And just make it a regular train, because that is yeah, is that the one I just did? Okay. Yeah, okay. Alright, because I was shipping out beer out to Adelaide, but there's really no need for that. You know, I do sort of feel the need to create another brewery in Dimboola, or I don't know. I think for the time being what I'm going to do is just stick it here in Bendigo. The problem is it doesn't have... Okay, it's found a somewhat decent route. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Alright, so we're going to send just beer, 8 full cars out to Mount Gambier. And it'll start loading up. Now let's see what... so I've only got 2 trains coming out of here. The problem is there's so many trains using this station that it's sometimes tough to I'm going to put a couple more in, although I've often thought about creating another warehouse over here for Bendigo and just mass dumping in wheat so that it can make plenty of beer. Because that's always been the problem, is it can't make beer fast enough because it doesn't have enough wheat. As soon as it makes it, it ends up shipping it out. But I still like the idea of converting this also. You know, I'm gonna buy that. Let's buy the factory, demolish it, and then put in a brewery. Actually, we're gonna put it on this side, and then I'm going to expand these stations. Let's see that one. I'm gonna expand Penrose Station as well. So they've got 4 lines in and out. Now what I'm going to do, and this is what I should have done with Vindaloo a long time ago, is I'm just going to stick a warehouse there. I'll put a small window. Then we're going to come way down here to this Perry Farm and expand it so I'll have a second line. And this is just going to run straight over to our warehouse. And all it's going to do is it's going to stock up our warehouse full of wheat. I'm just going to have a constant wheat supply coming in so that we can mass produce beer. That way we'll have another source of our beer supply, which we sort of desperately need. Okay. Got that going to here. Full cars. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. But I know I need to turn on wheat. Max that out. Okay. So now Dimbula can start making beer for us, and we'll expand it. We will need to grow the city if we want to expand it, you know, largely, but that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I think we're doing well there. Let's see how Mount Gambier is doing. They've already got their wood, so they don't need any more wood, which is why this is just sitting here waiting. Until it becomes a town, it's not going to need any wood, although it's not really blocking anybody, so I'm just going to leave that train there, and then it'll be ready to go at any time that it needs it. However, the fisheries, once it, let's see, where's that train? Oh, probably right there. So once it, yeah, once the fishery is met, which is probably this train right here, I'm going to go ahead and delete that because we don't need fisheries there anymore. Or we don't need seafood anymore because it's already been met. So right now I just got to get that wheat and the wheat and the beer there. And they should be on their way. Let's take a look. So there's the beer coming from Bendigo, and there is the wheat coming from Perry Farm, and it's just, the first load's just about to get there. There's not really a closer wheat nearby. I do see that there's some yellow markers, which means there's probably missing a supply tower somewhere. There's one there. There's one there. There's not really one in between there, so let's throw one there too. They're relatively cheap, doesn't hurt to go ahead and throw in some extras. Alright. Dimbula, start making that beer. Got our first load of wheat coming in, our second load of wheat coming in, our third load of wheat coming in, our fourth load of wheat coming in. So we've got plenty of wheat coming in. Dimbola should be happy about that. They would probably like a nice supply of meat, which they don't have yet. Again, the same thing. Bendigo is having a tough time keeping up with the meat because I've got several trains going there, but they can't keep up. I really should create a warehouse and just separate lines and just mass dump in the cattle and the wheat. But we do have some sugar here available. I think I will. I'll expand that station. I'm going to expand it 4 times. I'm going to run a separate line down. Let's see. Of course, it'll go the other way. Actually, we're going to go like this. I'm going to send some sugar over to I can't even remember the name of it now. Okay. Send some sugar, not to Pinaroo, because I don't think they're big enough, but Dimbola would probably enjoy some nice sugar. I want to get them growing so that I can expand the brewery so it can just make a ton of beer. That way I've got beer available for everyone. As you can see, their sugars, they're needed. And they could use some meat as well, but the only meat producer has been Bendigo. Although Ballarat makes meat as well. And actually they do have quite a bit of meat. Let me see, is that that actually wouldn't be an unheard of, let's run a train from Ballarat up to Dimbola, and we'll make it a priority meet. I'll let it do other stuff as well, but we'll do a priority meet. That way you can start dumping at least 1 train load of meat into Dimbola. What is that? Express line. I hate messing with express lines because they're just hard to make work. All right, how are you doing, Mount Gambier? You still don't have any beer. Is the beer on its way at least? Yep, the beer is on its way, so that's good. The wheat is on its way back to get the next load of wheat. It's just slow. Let's see what kind of Alright, I'm going to have to open up one of these. Train maintenance, I like that. Yeah. Those would both be good. We still have quite a lot of innovations to get through, so... Alright, there's our first... You know, I'm going to go ahead and clone that just so that it can start filling up beer at Bendigo. Or actually, I could even start... Oh, I should have done that. Let's see if that train's even there yet. It is. I'm going to delete this train. And then I'm going to run a train from Dimbola to Mount Gambier. And we'll run that. Okay. That's good. And then when this one is done, instead of deleting it, I'm just going to open it up and don't have a minimum, because it'll actually start exchanging passengers and mail at this point. So now we just need that one load of beer, which I just sent from Dimboola, which is making its way over, and then Perry Farm, which so slow. But once it gets down here, it'll load up with wheat and then get out of there. All right, so Pinaroo is doesn't have that much demand, so we're going to reduce the minimum here to 4 cars. That way it'll get out of the way. Now this one's going to Adelaide. Adelaide probably does not have a small demand of wheat. It does not. So you can see here I've maxed out the sawmill in Adelaide. It has that export warehouse which exports lumber, but as you can see I've maxed out, so I've actually slowed down my lumber production because I'm producing more than the export warehouse can export, which is sort of a good thing. It's a continual earning of money. Now here you can see it, when I click on the sawmill, it shows that my total profit for this business has been $2.5 million. So it's been very profitable, which is nice. All right, let's go back to what I was doing. So it looks like this is the train that's going to Mount Gambier. This is my last train. Of course, it's being serviced. Once it gets done, it'll take that last load down to Mount Gambier, and here we can see our beers coming in. So now it will have met the beer requirement. And I'm going to do the same thing on that train. I'm going to reduce it so that it doesn't have a minimum of 8. And then I'm just going to let it exchange whatever it wants. So passengers, and then no minimum. So no minimum, it'll just be like a regular passenger exchange between those two cities. Because I'm going to build up Dimboola. We want to be a producer beer, so we're going to build that up. I think I have some lines between... Nope, Dimboola. I actually don't have any between Dimboola and Pinaroo. So I'm going to put at least one train between the two. I'll even do like a mixed. Let's see, probably this is the better one. Between Dimboola and Pinaroo. They can at least exchange beer between the two. And also Pinaroo probably needs yeast extract because they make Vegemite. So, although they do get that also from Bendigo. Alright, where's that 5th town is almost done. It's right there. It's coming through Pinaroo now, on its way down to Mount Gambier. So let's speed it up a bit, because I'm curious to see what the next set of tasks are going to be. The nice thing is we're making pretty good money now, so the money supply is coming fast. That's our, yep, that's That's our wheat train right there. Once we learn what the new tasks are, then I will stop this video, and then we'll start up on the next video for the next set of tasks. Of course it broke down. I'm waiting on you. I mean, we're not really that far ahead. 1885, it's only 1883, so... What's the second train doing? Oh, is that a... Oh. Huh. I guess there's no passengers or mail going between those two cities, so... But I think once it establishes as a town, it'll start exchanging mail and passengers. Alright, so that's our last one.
The people are not rushing to Australia like they used to, but still, if we succeed in taming the wilderness and setting up significant industry, we may hope for self-government and thus more independence in the future. First, we should concentrate on the export of commodities.
Alright, let's look at deliver 200 loads of wool to Brisbane, 200 loads of lumber to Adelaide, and 200 loads of rum to Newcastle. Alright, that's our next that is our next set of tasks. On our next video we'll get to that, so I will see you then.